And today we're reacting to the moment Tia Billinger became Bonnie Blue. So this is basically the history of Bonnie Blue, how she came about, the beginning. Her name was Tia Billinger, I guess. It's time for us to get into it. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Post to the Twitch. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and today is Friday. Whoa, I'm tripping. Today is Monday. I said it in my last video that today was Friday. Today's Monday. Let's get to it, man.
A few years ago, Tia Billinger was going to a 9 to...
Bro, that was Bonnie Blue, bro. She look, only thing that looks like, I guess the nose, the eyebrows, and the eyes. Those still look the same.
5 and settling into a married suburban life. Today, she's better known as Bonnie Blue, famous for sleeping with over 1,000 men in one day. Her career's been boosted by countless news articles, podcasts, and TV interviews. Until recently, she was pulling in hundreds of thousands every month.
$1 million a month. Goodness gracious.
Millions every year, becoming one of the most famous women on the internet. And her rise is just everything wrong with the internet and modern fame culture, as her transformation and her wild success tells us all we need to know about modern society. So let's dive right into her sordid story and discover why Bonnie Blue is a warning to all of us. You see, before Bonnie was bonking illegal teens, she was young and innocent herself. Growing up...
Wow, that's crazy seeing like these were humans at one point before evil entities entered their body and took over.
In the sleepy English town of Stapleford, Nottinghamshire, her childhood was incredibly average. With a relatively wealthy upbringing and a stable home life, there was no indications of what was to come. In fact,
they get all these
she was
photos?
actually engaged and married far earlier than most. She met her now ex-husband at just 15 years old. He was a rugby star at a nearby private school.
Bro, imagine the girl, your high school sweetheart, 15. You've known her for however long, bro, and y'all got fiance everything for her to become what she is. Wow.
School, and together they were said to have a picturesque normal life. The pair soon moved into their own house, nearly entirely funded by her partner's wealthy parents. She had everything on a great silver platter. But for whatever reason though, something deep down was wrong. Bonnie wasn't happy with what this stable future looked like. It was just too boring. This wasn't what she wanted. And after spending their teenage years together, the pair split when Bonnie was just 21 years old, and quickly did what every other Brit does: moved to Australia and pursued a career, where she would eventually land in recruitment, just like many 21-year-old British girls. And so
really, that's what they do. You go from England to Australia for like more opportunity. Man, bro, the other side of the world, you wouldn't really know if you didn't watch videos or, you know what I'm saying, what's from there. How else would you know this?
So far, this sounds like just pretty much anyone else's story. But it
normal
was at
human
this point where things took a weird turn. Even with her newfound freedom, Bonnie was just always bored.
And all I thought is, oh, I finished school, I've gone into apprentice and recruitment, and now I'm going to do recruitment for the rest of my life. And I was like, is this as good as it going to get?
Well, no, because there's like a million other jobs.
Yeah, but still, it's still like, for me, it was very office-based, and money is shit.
She could continue commuting to work, sitting in an office and living a dull but stable life with a happy family. Or there was the other option. She could become famous. She could make it big online and finally be recognized.
So basically, I used to work in recruitment. I was bored of living the 9 to 5, just doing the average life. And I was like, I'm going to give this a go. Started off doing cabin for about 2 weeks.
And what was the easiest, most profitable way of doing this? Well, by using her sexuality. And with just one taste of camming, Bonnie was already hooked. At first, it was just a side hustle, something to help put food on the table and help save up for a house. However, it soon proved far more lucrative than she ever expected.
I was earning a lot of money on camming, like 4 to 5,000 AUD a week.
Woo! 4 to 5 a week. So she was doing 20. She was doing about 20, a little bit less than 20 at times. Okay, about 16 to 20,000 a month. That's good. That's good cheese, man. That's really good cheese to start making. And a lot of the time, some people get comfortable right there. But that's I feel like you only really get comfortable 16, 20 if you're working a job where you're like having to go like 9 to 5, but you're getting 16, 20. You get kind of comfortable because it's like, man, I'm getting a lot of money for the work that I'm doing, you know, and you kind of people might want to stop there. But when you're in a world like, when you're in an industry like the internet, and let's just say an industry where the money is up to you. Okay, so if I put in this much more work, I'll get this much more money. It's like the world is your oyster, you feel me?
And that was like instantly life-changing.
It was fast, easy money. Bonnie earned 5,000 Australian dollars after just 1 week as a cam girl. A few weeks later, she was earning more in one stream than her job would pay out for days or weeks of work. She soon realized that just with her looks and playing with men's sexual needs, she could easily become a multi-millionaire and live out her fantasies, her dreams and goals in life, and never have to settle down or rely on a man again. But she soon realized that just camming like this wasn't going to be enough. Other platforms were far better for reaching a wider audience. She saw how these huge OnlyFans stars were making $5 million a month, becoming part of the 0.001% in society just from playing on men's psychology. And the best thing was, these OnlyFans girls didn't have to stream every day either. It was the ultimate business model. With just a few hours of work a week, you could make millions if you did it right, all whilst becoming famous at the same time. And if you're wondering how the top 1% of OnlyFans creators make so much money, take a look at this. A recent study found...
Shout out to Sophie Rain, man. That's all I got to say. Shout out to Sophie Rain, my nigga. For all that cheese, I'm doing the same thing.
That over 80% of men watch porn on a regular basis, with a lot of them spending hundreds if not thousands on subscriptions to fuel their addiction every month.
Yeah, this is not, look, bro. A man is not a child, bro. We talking about men? I'm talking about men right now. If you're a man spending this much on corn, I don't care that you're getting exploited or that you are part of the experiment. I don't care. That's on you. That's your life. You don't know how to manage and handle and take care of yourself, or maybe you want to do this and you're good. But regardless, I don't feel bad for you.
Quitter is on a mission to stop this and help men regain control of their lives and finally...
Bro, you act like this is some type, like they're acting like this is some type of mind control. Like, it is, but it's not like somebody there's a pendulum in front of you and it's hypnotizing your brain. Well, it is, but it's also like something that it's not going into your brain and stopping you from, like, it's not like your consciousness has been shot to the back of your mind and you can't do anything about it, like that Black Mirror episode where the person was in their brain but their body was being controlled and taken over. It's not that. It's not. These are niggas that don't have self-control and they don't know how to figure it out.
Break free from this evil habit. With their in-app 30-day challenge, 1 million men have already seen incredible changes in their lives. Increased discipline, boosted focus and productivity, confidence in themselves.
Yeah, shout out to everybody that's able to get out of it. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up.
Talking to women. Quitting porn doesn't have to be difficult, and with Quitter's cutting edge...
But you know what it is? Everybody that makes it this big of a deal, that they have to have a Quitter app. You've been free for 6 minutes and 48 seconds. Look at this
app. 30 days is all it takes to enjoy the physical and mental benefits. Now you might be thinking, but how do I know if I need help? Well, with Quitter's free porn addiction quiz, you can see how you're
why am I watching this ad?
Making far more money than most adult content creators can hope for. In reality, the top 1% of OnlyFans creators earn just around £38,000 annually, which is about as much as the average UK salary. The vast majority earn far less, pumping out content every day to a tiny amount of paying subscribers. There are hundreds of thousands of them.
Just like I don't feel bad for them, I don't feel bad for these people that are trying out OF and now they expose themselves to the world for $500 a month.
All trying to outcompete each other. So to stand out, you need to do something truly exceptional, be incredibly beautiful and stunning, or truly depraved. It's the same process we're seeing at almost every level of society, where everything has to be more extreme, more crazy, more fascinating, more dope and emergic than anything else. Whether for good or bad, you have to be extreme. And if you're not, people get bored of you and you'll make nothing. We see it even with factory workers who lose their jobs now because they're competing against extremely cheap labor from foreign countries. Dating has become so much harder for men because instead of competing with local people in your own city, you're now competing with the entire world, with the top elite of people using Photoshop and everything they can to their advantage. There are plenty of examples wherever you look, and OnlyFans is yet another one. It's becoming far more common as well. Both regular people and celebrities are now all integrating this into their wider social media. We see people like Lil Nas trying to take down Christianity with his music, all to get those.
I'm so glad this thing is wherever he is. I'm so glad his fall off was so hard and he didn't just exceed and excel crazy limit. Like, I'm so glad he's falling off, bro.
Outrage clicks. The more normalized all of this becomes, the more people give it a try, and OnlyFans is just a symptom of this entire process. But whilst it's such a tempting offer, with a few hours of work and a quick sign up in minutes, the consequences can be permanent. Whilst it might be fine for a couple of years, future employers, partners, children, or anyone else important in your life will probably judge you heavily for this. And in previous societies, it would have been completely shameful. But when you see these people making millions a month just from doing it, it's all too tempting not to. And once you start, you just can't stop. So in the first few weeks of her career in adult content, Bonnie coasted along with her genetics. When she was younger, she looked like a beautiful woman. She could have easily stayed at this level for years, earning a healthy amount of money. But the same thing that drove her away from a quiet, boring life in England or a normal job in Australia pushed her further. Her rise through the world of OnlyFans would be thanks to other qualities, character traits that made her perfectly suited to the world of online adult content. The first thing that Bonnie needed to do was find her niche. Most creators don't push the envelope. They post the same kind of pictures with the same kind of captions, all competing.
We haven't seen her in them. She just can't compete with Bonnie Blue. We ain't seen her in a while.
For the exact same audience. Targeting a specific niche makes it much more likely for your fans to pay out. Some people choose specific preferences to focus on, but Bonnie was going to do something that would have mass appeal, while also being far more extreme than others would dare to do. She was going to use regular people in her videos.
My inbox was flooded with these schoolies saying, hey, like I really want to sleep with you and make a video.
It was a pretty simple idea, but there's a lot of very good reasons content creators don't do this. Before Bonnie Blue, nearly all adult content creators only worked with other content creators. Everything was simulated and acted out, as it's safe for them because random people off the street have no incentive to be professional and could be kind of dodgy, let alone unhygienic. It's also a lot less likely for fellow performers to take advantage or act out if their career and their reputation is involved. The closed system gives them more control. There's just a million reasons not to use random people instead of other performers, but Bonnie didn't care about any of this. She knew that this was her shot at fame online, as she explained on UK.
Wow, they put Bonnie Blue on whatever television network this was. This should never have been done. This right here is damaging. Putting her on a network like this is damaging. No, this isn't it. You know what I'm saying? YouTube, things like that, where you find out about her because, you know, you're online and you click the video, but on TV network now, again, that it's TV is not as big as it once was, but it still looks like some type of news network that she's on, and then they titled it Pred or Entrepreneur.
You fucking bitch!
Oh my gosh.
TV.
Because as I started my content, I realized it was not necessarily relatable to the average person. And I wanted to make my content relatable. I'm just a girl, I'm relatable, I'm sort of the girl next door vibes.
She saw the opportunity to make money by actually giving people something closer to the real thing, to give people a false hope. She knew her audience was desperate, lonely men. So if she made a parasocial relationship with them, acting as if the guy watching could be next, she would rake in.
Yeah, she's a business mastermind genius.
Millions. Plus, she had the rare quality of seemingly not caring about how unsafe and dirty this could actually be. In podcasts, she's openly talked about how people have taken advantage and even stolen her phone in all of the chaos. And it's fairly likely that she's omitting lots of the gory, horrible details, or that she's so used to at this point that.
How many times do you think Bonnie Blue has gotten chlamydia?
It doesn't even faze her anymore.
Worse, I would say just someone having take my phone, and I wasn't bothered about the phone. It was more I've just pleasured you.
Yeah.
And you've done that. Like, it's just frustrating that there's such like nasty people out there.
Even with how extreme and degenerate this was, it still wasn't enough yet. She was still bored. She knew she could become more famous and get more attention and money. So she wasn't going to just use one random person, she was going to get hundreds of people involved. And on top of that, she was also going to target a very specific demographic. From the beginning of her stunts, Bonnie targeted the youngest men she could legally target. In Australia, where she was living at the time, 18-year-olds have a week of partying late in the year after they finish the exams. It's called schoolies, and for lots of teens, it's the first holiday they'll have as an adult. You can already see why so many
That sounds pretty lit. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know about nothing like that in the U.S. It's called schoolies. You know, everybody 18. Woo, that's lit. That's live.
people are calling this predatory. In interviews with critics, Bonnie tells the world that it's completely legal, that she has people sign consent forms, checks their IDs, and makes sure they all get tested before anything happens.
When they're coming to me, it's pre-planned. So they've already thought about it beforehand. They have to fill in 2 consent forms, they have to bring ID, and they also get tested. So it's a much safer environment
She's like a skeleton.
than what people think.
Meanwhile though, her promotional material often uses the term barely legal. It speaks to how she's pushing the law to its limits rather than actually paying attention to ethics or common sense. Because why would you when money and fame are the only things you care about? But we're in a society and culture that values extremes and immorality over actual virtue.
I call them barely legal teens because I'm aware it's going to get attention. And the more attention I get, the more word it spreads. And the more people that know about it, the more 18-year-olds I can with.
Bonnie sold her soul doing this, and in 2023, along with a bunch of other stunts, actually found herself at the top of OnlyFans. Within no time at all, she was now earning hundreds of thousands every single month, making the bleak truth about society ever more clear. The more extreme your content is, and the more degenerate you are, the more attention and money you'll get.
Yeah, that's real, and that's across all platforms. If I push the limit on here, right, and one of my content was I would react naked. Bear with me, guys. Hold on. I would react naked, and when something lit would happen, I would jump up real quick, but I would stop right before I get right here, and I'll come back down. Right? If whatever, let's say that was okay in the laws, in the eyes of YouTube, woo, yeah, and it would stop right before, or I would jump up and a blur would come up that would go with my Johnson's or his swing. Guys, just bear with me. And then I put a link. I don't think you can put the link. I had y'all go to my Instagram, or I would say, guys, for my I don't know if we can promote or if guys, pull it to my Instagram where y'all can see my links where, you know, on one of my accounts, I take the blur off, I jump up in the air, I react, bro. And whenever I get lit, whoa, I jump up, there's no blur, bro. How would y'all, you know what I'm saying? I'm pushing the boundaries. I'm doing something that nobody's done. Drake said, how you gonna get up to the top just by fitting in? Now, that's an extreme, but it's the truth, though.
This creates an especially destructive trap for people to fall into. They might start out in the industry with lots of strict boundaries and things they won't do. But if it turns into their career and they have an alter ego, then there's suddenly a financial incentive for them to do things they aren't comfortable with. If they start losing their audience, content creators will feel forced to take the next step towards more extreme content. Bonnie Blue, who dives straight in head first, is rare in this way. But at this point, you might be wondering about Bonnie's family. The family she left behind in England, all the people from her past that knew her. Her ex-husband, her friends, and most of all her parents must have had some thoughts about her virality. You might think they'd be displeased seeing their daughter earning their living by sleeping with so many people and being on OnlyFans. But actually, the apple didn't fall far from the tree once they saw the money she was putting in, and their scruples too flew out the window. Notice that term, supporting the family. Today, lots of them are just part of the business that surrounds her. They're her managers, handing out flyers. Apparently her ex-husband helps out as well behind the scenes. In 2022, they were married. Just a year later, he was then cleaning up her stains on hotel mattresses.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, let me get some of that cheese, man. I don't have any attraction to you any longer. You are not. You don't look good. You and I are no longer. Or maybe they are longer in the back end of it all. Regardless, I'll clean something up, bro. $2 million a month, just get me right, bro. All right.
Needless to say, lots of Aussies weren't nearly as thrilled about what was going on. In fact, so many of them signed a petition to the government that they ended up revoking her visa. So Bonnie Blue just ended up packing up and continuing the show in her home country, putting the same stunts with 18-year-old university students.
You can get your visa took by doing something like this. Dang.
Instead, later she even went to Fiji planning on doing the exact same thing, although it's unclear how successful she actually was. Other than that, Bonnie Blue hasn't shied away from breaking other taboos and potentially breaking up entire families. She's been vocal about her preference for married men and fathers as well as their sons, a perfect marketing scheme playing on the trends on adult content sites. This is all a calculated strategy to create as much outrage as possible so that she gets more attention and thus more money. Like we can see with the story she told where she slept with both a father and a son one after another, then heard the dad say, "Don't tell your mother about this," after they left.
Wow.
I let the son go first. So, well, to be fair honest, I'd already slept with their son a few days before.
Oh.
And then in the queue, I saw someone with their, well, I didn't know it was their dad. I just saw someone with a much older guy. And I was like, oh, maybe it's just someone older. And he was like, oh, this is my dad. And I was thinking, oh my God, his dad's going to tell me off. Or I don't know, the dad's going to say something to me.
Mm-hmm.
But the story was that he was actually just quite jealous that his son had got to sleep with me. So then we did a father and son.
These stories all work to create a narrative, to make you wonder what's really going on in these videos. It's all a calculated ploy just to get her more famous. You'll see a pattern with all of her statements in interviews and her actions on camera, all designed to gain the most amount of attention possible. Bonnie Blue knows that controversy is what sells. She knows that the men that hate her the most want to actually watch these videos the most, and that her long string of controversial moments has only pushed her career further and further, all with the backing of her own family.
Your father's okay with this?
Yeah, he's more than proud. His back of his phone case is like a QR code to my OnlyFans.
Oh my gosh. And that's so specific that I think I believe her. I don't think she made that up. How much money do your daughter gotta be pulling in for you to be like... When I really sit back and think about it now, it probably starts off as you hate this, you want to disown her, you're so mad, whatever, this is that and the third. Then you start seeing buzz. Then you start seeing money. You like, fuck, that is my little girl though. And she also getting a lot of cheese. I can either just not be a part of this, be mad, never speak to her again, or love my daughter, support her, because everybody still wants to love their daughter, and just go with this, and also live lavishly, because she's going to do it anyway, with or without me. I think I know what choice I'll make. You know what I'm saying?
I can imagine how proud he is.
How does it make you feel though?
I'm proud of her. I don't mind.
It's gotten her TV interviews, podcast appearances, and enough tabloid articles to fill a Sunday paper. In a way, we're only perpetuating the problem by making this video in the first place. Always this stuff attracts a lot of basic haters pretty understandably, but they don't know that they're acting as her publicist without even realizing. This is all part of her strategy in the first place. Stunts like performing acts at a local football game then getting kicked out the stadium fit perfectly into this narrative before sneaking in later to do it all over again. And it all just brings us to the thing that Bonnie Blue's most famous for, and the reason why she's a symptom of our corrupted society. Her claim to the world record for sleeping with the most people in a single day. According to her social media,
she didn't get to do her biggest one though.
Post and the storm of news and media coverage, Bonnie slept with 1,057 men in just a single day. But the logistics alone are hard to believe. In a 12-hour period, taking 2 people at a time non-stop, each person would still only get around 80 seconds each. But while there isn't much real evidence of this, kinda seems like this did actually happen. There are posts she made after the fact and pictures of this desperate cure.
80 seconds each.
Then, one woman even found that her boyfriend was among those men in the queue, and they broke up shortly afterwards. He was
good. good, because you are on a whole different level of freak nature to be in a relationship and say, I gotta get some of that Bonnie Blue. I need some of that.
Wasn't alone. As Bonnie became more popular, hundreds and later thousands of men lined up waiting for their turn. And imagine the risks.
Dang, he's getting straight off of work. They got firefighters
waiting for their turn on Bonnie Blue. If people ever found out that you went, it would be awful for your reputation. Then there's the hygiene aspect. I mean, Bonnie insists that everyone's been tested, but as we'll soon find out, she isn't afraid of bending the truth.
Sleeping with an adult worker who's fully tested in a safe environment, that should be the least of their worries.
Then there's just the simple fact that lots of people can't imagine anything grosser than this. Standing outside in the cold with hundreds of other men is probably one of the most empty, messy, humiliating, and degenerate experiences you can ever have. And yet so many men have poured into the streets for hours just to get their magic minute. The fact that there's so many men this desperate speaks to how far men are falling in modern society.
Yeah, I think, you know, when like girls would be like, you know, the most disgusting, vile creatures in the world. That I think that I think I agree. That what they saying is not all of them, but this just the fact that they're like the most vile creatures in the world. One of the most vile creature in the world is, there's a man out there that is that. There's a lot of them. That's the truth. It's the truth. Because it's like, yeah, animals, they can be dirty, they can be disgusting, but they also are animals, right? Their brain exceeds only so many limits. Then you have a man, right? Think about a man at his lowest. Think about you at your lowest. The things that you would have been willing to do if like the things that your brain was telling you to do, but you were just a sane person, so you told, nah, I'm not doing that. Now think about the man that doesn't have that voice and is willing to do whatever. It gets dark. You gotta think about it. Men are probably the most, we're probably the most vile, disgusting. When I say we, I'm just saying the species, not us individually, right? Y'all get what I'm saying. I agree with the women on this one, because there is a man that is down there at the bottom.
Potentially because the very content they're consuming, where Bonnie Blue becomes a multi-millionaire from these lonely guys spending all of their cash on this sort of stuff, being so desensitized to adult content since they were around 11 years old. Bonnie Blue often describes what she does as just giving pleasure, nothing more.
On the other side of that coin, though, a man is also the smartest, greatest, strongest being that could change and alter a lot of things. I feel like that's like we have the very tippity top, but we're also at the very bottom of the scale, right?
More and nothing less, as this interpretation just justifies what she does like some sort of charity. But if it is just pleasure, then surely more pleasure for more people is better, right? Well, this is all part of a wider sexualized move in society towards devaluing, reducing, and stripping things down, taking away the divinity of life, the emotional connection, the build-up, even just the sanctity of love has been completely thrown away and commodified into a product, where the bodily sensation is all that's left, with two people who just see each other as a means to an end. And Bonnie Blue's cartoonishly exaggerated stunts are just the epitome of how modern society has cheapened the act itself. Her popularity, both with her volunteers and the wider internet, just really shows what she does is perfectly designed to fit into modern culture. But this isn't the only way that Bonnie Blue has been able to profit from exploiting modern society. She also allegedly fakes lots of her stunts in an attempt to get more attention. Recently, for example, Bonnie Blue had family members post videos of her being arrested by police. Thanks for all the support in the last 24 hours, her sister wrote in a post. This isn't something we wanted to get out of, but it seems there is no privacy for her anymore. Yours sincerely, Tia's sister. Immediately, people began wondering what this was all about. Maybe she broke public indecency laws, or maybe she went under the legal age limit that she's been pushing for years. Instead though, people soon realized that this was almost certainly a fake marketing stunt, and that nearly everything her sister said was probably a lie. The police car's license plate then matched a prop car often used in movies and TV shows. It's this single-minded pursuit of attention that wins in our online attention-based economy, where degeneracy, extremity, and pure narcissism are awarded above all else. Bonnie Blue realized this and is willing to do absolutely anything so long as it contributes to this ultimate goal, including faking all of this stuff so she naturally floats to the top and finally becomes recognized and famous, no matter what for. And because it's been working so well for her, it's spurring on a whole other generation of girls to do the exact same thing. People like Lily Phillips have emulated her playbook in every single way. She's pulled the exact same stunts and she's most likely faked being arrested as well. Just recently, she also boasted that she actually broke Bonnie's new record by sleeping with 1,130.
So they still in competition. This is a race that there's only two racers, two participants, as I should say. This race isn't a marathon. You don't have the people lined up to try this. This is a two-woman race.
Men in just 12 hours. Meanwhile, Bonnie has now been banned from bands after threatening to pull another stunt in London, this time with her locked in a box open to the public. Fans cited their rule against public stunts, although
just the plan, she didn't even do it, just the idea, like, can I take her off?
Comes too little too late really. They were happy to take their cut of massive earnings for years. Now they must calculate that she's more trouble than she's worth. It's almost like Bonnie Blue almost went too far, like she got too much attention and fame from this. Like Icarus, she flew
Is that fair though? If I came on here, guys, I'm planning to do a I mean, I guess it depends on what I'm planning to do, huh? But if there's something I'm planning to do this type of video, but I never do it, I just say in my next video that I plan on doing it. I guess if it catches enough buzz, yeah.
Too close to the sun, being seen courtside in basketball games, doing podcasts with people like Andrew Tate, and seemingly being known ubiquitously online. But she isn't exactly a villain in this story. However much money she made, she's still just a pawn on the board, a symptom of a wider, more degenerate problem across the West. I mean, she was only so successful because she fit the mold exactly for what our society rewards nowadays. The real money, billions of dollars, gets hoovered up by the platforms themselves. Like we mentioned before in this video about the man who owns all the adult content online. These kinds of people are profiting from the downfall of the West.
Really? The man that owns all your...
I mean, even Bonnie Blue's claim.
There's a guy that is the mastermind behind all of that. We might have to watch this.
Of making nearly 10 million in a year pales in comparison to the 1.4 billion in revenue that itself pulls in. Let alone the fact that the top sites across the internet are always adult content sites, who are always owned by shady companies that have monopolized the entire industry. And the people running those companies are completely anonymous, doing everything they can to hide away from fame. People might even go so far as to call Bonnie a predator, because of all the stuff she says about taking young people's virginities. And as horrendous and attention-grabbing as that statement is, OnlyFans is actually making tons of money off real illegal predatory content. Videos of people taken without their consent, videos of crimes, and even worse, which is all then filtered through the platform, which has seen over 100 complaints of non-consensual videos on the site. And these are just the ones that people know about and make a complaint about. With so much decentralized amateur content, it's almost impossible to tell. And the self-proclaimed feminist CEO tells the world that they're making adult content safer. They're giving power back to women by giving them control over their place in the industry and liberating women sexually, which is just classic tech bro drivel designed to cover up their real role in the wider economy, looking to take part the very fabric binding culture and civilization together so they can replace it with their own profit-sucking model instead, commodifying the human body. And by having so many of these band stars loudly and proudly discuss the money they make, whether it be 1 million or 5 million a month, they continue to hope this will tempt other people into giving this a try, to selling their body for clicks online. And we already know that the average person...
You fall for that. It's tough for me to feel bad for you. Maybe you're successful though. That being said, y'all let me know what y'all think. Like the video, sub up, comment up, mention the channel. I'll lay out, preach out, grave y'all. We gone.